As always, it's time to get your legal questions answered, and here to share his expertise is attorney Jason Nix. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good to see you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Okay, haven't seen you since last year.
I know. It feels like it's been a year.
Absolutely. All right, so first and foremost, before we get to people's questions, we're going to talk a little bit about a website, and the website is What to Do When Pulled Over and Suspected of DWI.
Right, that's on my website, BeaumontDWILawyer.com. We have a DWI blog on there, and we tell you what to do from start to finish. You know, when you've had a drink or two with dinner and you're driving home and you get pulled over, a lot of people aren't used to that situation and don't really understand the process that's taken place. And so it's kind of just to tell them exactly what they need to do from start to finish to protect themselves.
Okay, so let's start with, you see the lights in your rearview mirror, what do you do? Well,
the first thing that everybody needs to know is that obviously I'm not endorsing driving while intoxicated.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you know, it's not illegal to go have a beer or two with your dinner, with your steak, and if you're driving home, if you're speeding a few miles an hour over, if you get pulled over, you're going to be given sobriety tests and suspected of DWI, and so you have to make that decision as to whether you're going to do all their tests, you know, stand on one leg for half a minute, you know, walk a straight line like you're on a tightrope at a circus, or whether you're going to protect yourself and invoke your constitutional rights, basically. So I just kind of go through all the step-by-step things on there, but it's important that everybody knows if you do, you know, if you are arrested, you know, if you do, you know, refuse and you are arrested, your license is going to get suspended, which it's going to get suspended whether, you know, if you get arrested or convicted or not, you're still going to get suspended if you've been arrested. So it's important that everyone knows if you refuse certain things, you know, you will be arrested and you will have your license suspended. But this is more of how to potentially beat the rap, not necessarily the ride.
Okay, got it. Because basically what you're saying is more than likely, if you are in that situation, your license is going to get suspended anyway.
Right, because you know, if it's late at night on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, it's 11:30, midnight, if you smell like alcohol, you got to remember the officer's standard of proof is much lower than a jury's to convict you. And so a lot of times, if they think you may or may not be, they're probably going to arrest you because they don't want you, they don't want to be the person that let you go if something were to potentially happen. So they've got liability issues they have to consider. So just because you're arrested doesn't mean you actually did it, or, you know, you will be convicted. So this is to protect you because they're going to protect themselves, so you should protect yourself.
Okay, so when the officer starts asking questions about taking a test, what do you say to them?
Well, the first thing that I'd say to them is, you know, at this point they've asked you to step out of the car. Most officers will just tell you to put your feet together, arms at your side, pull a flashlight and a pen out, and don't even tell you that you've begun doing tests.
Wow.
And at that point, that's when you need to take a step back and say, I'll be happy to perform any test as long as my attorney's present. Because essentially, you're being interrogated for what they believe is a crime that's taken place. So who would want to be interrogated without having their attorney present? Not many people. So so I would say to take a step back and be very polite with them. Remember, you're being recorded on video the entire time, even before you're pulled over. You're on video. Be polite and just tell them that you would like to have your attorney present and you'd be happy to perform anything as long as your attorney can be there to advise you. And of course, they're going to tell you, you don't have a right to an attorney out here on the side of the road, and your attorney's not going to come out here. And once you refuse, they're probably going to handcuff you and, you know, take you to jail. But what evidence do they have at that point? Just that you were speeding.
Okay, and it's important to note too that because you are on camera, that is something that if you do go to court, you want the jury to see you in a positive light.
You want the jury to see that you were very polite. You've basically said that you just want to invoke your constitutional rights to have an attorney present. It doesn't mean you're guilty to invoke your right to counsel. I mean, most people, if they're being charged with a crime, you know, especially they don't know how it works, they're going to want to have an attorney to advise them.
Okay. Now, of course, when you're trying to get in touch with your attorney, that's kind of once that you get to the police station, and would they call you at that time? Or
no, at the time that you're arrested and taken to the jail, the first person you want to call obviously is your bail bondsman, because you know your attorney is not going to be able to get you out of jail at this point because they've already made the decision to arrest you. So the next thing you want to do is contact a local bail bondsman, get out, and then the first call needs to be to an attorney and get representation immediately. But you know, once you're under arrest, there's nothing the attorney can do for you. We're not going to be able to, you know, go convince the officer, hey, you know, you didn't have enough, you should let him go now. Because once they decide to put those cuffs on you on the side of the road, they're not letting you go. You could go back to the police station and blow a 0.0, and they're most likely not going to let you go.
Wow. Okay. Okay, that's interesting to know. And so, that brings up the question of, okay, so you call your bail bondsman and then you call your attorney, but, so it's a situation of you're really kind of just getting out of taking that test, because if you do go to court, at least that won't be something that could go against you.
Yeah, the main thing is that, obviously if you've had absolutely nothing to drink, then of course you may want to discuss your options with the officer, but these are very physical demanding tests. You want to make sure they know if you have any limitations physically on your knees, your back, your neck, because a lot of officers won't ask that question, and you don't need to be standing on one leg in the middle of the night on the side of the road with traffic coming at you if you've got some physical limitations. So the most important thing is to go to the blog on the website, know your rights, being able to protect yourself, because they're going to protect, their self. You need to be able to protect yourself. So.
Absolutely. Anything else that you'd like to add regarding if someone's pulled over and suspected of a DWI?
Yeah, if you're actually arrested for DWI, as soon as you get out, contact our office. We can help you out. The quicker the better, because once we find out that you're arrested for it, there are things that we can do to potentially try to get your license back immediately. We have within 15 days to ask for a specific hearing. And obviously at that point, there's obviously some fact-finding things that we can do in order to start defending you. So.
All right, Jason, Attorney Nix, thank you so much. And, of course, the number is 409-835-6767. Again, 409-835-6767. Set it up, and, of course, you'll be there.
Absolutely.
As always. All right, well, there's much more to come. We'll be right back. You're watching Southeast Texas Live. So we can, of course, answer these